Our next speaker is Margaret Kimberly. Margaret, as you know, probably all very well know, is an executive editor and senior columnist at Black Agenda Report, and she currently hosts the Black Agenda Radio podcast. Margaret, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Radhika. Greetings, everyone, and thank you all for joining us as we pay tribute to Chris Matlhako, a comrade and friend. I first met him in 2018 at the first international conference against US NATO military bases, which was held in Dublin, Ireland. I chaired a panel on US Africa Command, AFRICOM, and Chris was a participant along with Paul Pumphrey and Anna Tambo. It was my first encounter and only in-person encounter with him, but it was very meaningful to me. It played an important role as I learned more and more about internationalism, especially as it pertains to Africa. This is a small portion of Chris's remarks for that panel. Quote, "There are US bases, compounds, port facilities, and fuel burners in 34 African countries, including in regional hegemons, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Algeria, under the guise of countering terrorism, and through joint partnerships, Washington has infiltrated continental security organizations and has touted the idea of establishing on-the-ground liaison offices. American military officials and policymakers view the continent as a full-scale battlefield in the competition against China and through promoting regionalism. US officials are successfully circumventing continental institutions, including the African Union," unquote. Some of that has changed, most obviously in the relationship with Ethiopia, but Chris was spot on in his analysis of what is happening on the African continent as a result of US interference and its imperialist imperatives there. It was a great pleasure meeting him and learning more about the activities of the South African Communist Party. And South Africa is a nation which threw off its racist apartheid system only to be captured by capitalist interests. This story is frankly rather tragic, one in which Cuba in particular played a huge role in freeing it from apartheid, but it nonetheless succumbed to international pressures. And we cannot remember Comrade Che Matlhako without acknowledging the work of the South African Communist Party and others who struggle to regain the liberation that comes through socialism. I'm also proud to be here on behalf of Black Agenda Report. We've been presenting news and analysis from a Black left perspective since 2006. It's very strange in this country, the US, that is so right-wing that the word left has lost a lot of its meaning, and conservative Democrats who are pro-war, pro-imperialist, and capitalist manage to call themselves the left. But at Black Agenda Report, we know that means socialist. And as such, we make clear our connections, that is to say that of the African diaspora and the absolute necessity of connecting with the socialist world and stating clearly that that is the solution of the plethora of problems faced by African people around the world. I also knew Comrade Che through my work with the Black Alliance for Peace. He was a member of our US Out of Africa Network Steering Committee, which is the formation which guides our anti-AFRICOM work. He was very committed in that regard as we managed a variety of nations and time zones to come together to discuss our work. The Black Alliance for Peace is, I think, the chief formation in the US and also very important internationally in mobilizing against the US Africa Command, AFRICOM, and all of the US military commands which attempt to exercise hegemony around the world. We USians are all very much underprivileged, a word most often used to describe low-income people, but it applies to us all unless we strive to learn more because our country is so retrograde and works very hard to keep people here ignorant of the rest of the world and of the role of this state we live under in maintaining imperialist domination. That is doubly true of Black African people, that there is a sustained effort to keep us separated from and ignorant of the struggles of African people internationally. That is why it was so important for me to travel to Dublin or anywhere else where we engage in educational work. I was deeply saddened to hear of Comrade Che's passing. He was young, younger than I am, and had so much more to accomplish. But we're all here today in this meeting and around the world actively working to make real his hopes and dreams. And we are all dreamers, are we not? And we must be, in bringing true justice to South Africa and to people all over the world. Chris Che Matlhako, presente. Thank you very much.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.